I think the spiciest thing I've ever done in my long-term relationship was to make a video that involved props that we found both around the house and in the garden. Tell me that's not spicy. I mean, it wasn't spicy at all. We were using very, very bland vegetables, cucumbers, carrots, like literally nothing spicy, and at the same time, the most spicy. That's definitely the most I've ever shared on the old YouTube channel here. So that's for you. Thanks. Hi, welcome. I'm sex and relationship coach Caitlin B, and today we are talking about how to spice things up in the bedroom. So just a disclaimer, I don't love the term. I challenge you to be as specific as possible. When you say spice things up, what is it that you mean? And we will get into that all in a second. In this video, I'm going to give you a list of tips, a step-by-step guide on how to spice things up, whether you're in a long-term relationship and sex has become a little stale, or you're in a relatively new relationship but you want to prevent it from ever getting boring. I have got you covered. Come along with me in this journey. What does it mean, or what underlies the concept of spicing things up to begin with? Well, most people find that their sex life becomes less interesting over the course of time that they're in a relationship. This is normal. When we are first with a new partner, there's a lot of novelty. We're like really in the moment because they're so new. We really want them to like us. We really like them. We're really into them. It's like really easy to enjoy sex and to stay invested and present when you're having sex with a new lover. But over time, your body and your mind get used to having sex with that person. They get used to the feeling of being with that person. And the excitement and the novelty and the uncertainty that was present at the beginning of the relationship starts to fade away for the comfort and the love and the security that replaces it. These are not good or bad. One of these is not better than the other. They are just different. And the reality of the world that we live in is that we want to have great sex. I think that we all want to have great sex and we all want our partners to have great sex. And so in order to continue to have great sex and progress our sex life further, the longer that we're together, we have to put work in. That is what spicing things up means. It means intentionally working on our sex life. And there is nothing wrong with it. Again, repeat after me. There's nothing wrong with having to spice things up. Or there's nothing wrong with feeling like things need to be spiced up. There's nothing wrong with feeling like sex has become a little bit dull or predictable or routine or boring. This is just life. This is how everything works. So some basic fundamental truths here are that number one, routine and certainty lead to a lack of variety and interest. The more that you change things up, the better that your sex life will be. The less predictable that you are, the more spicy that things will be. You just have to try new things. That's going to be a part of all of the tips that I'm going to give you later. Number two, be good, giving, and game. This is a great term, GGG, coined by Dan Savage, who once snapped my bra in a picture, the one picture that I have with Dan Savage. That term, GGG, good, giving, and game, is the basis for being a great lover. So are you good to your lover? Are you giving to your lover? Are you game for anything? If you are not these three things, then throwing some spice into the mix is not going to necessarily make sex better. For example, when you say spicing things up, make sure you don't mean finally get my partner to do all of the things that I've been begging them to do, but they haven't been willing to do. I wanted to have anal sex since day one in this relationship. She won't give me anal sex. I want to spice things up and have anal sex. Ask her first. Begin with her if you really want that to be the outcome. If you really want to end up having anal sex, ask her first what you can do for her to be better at giving, more game, and a good lover. And then, without expectation of reciprocity, then offer other ways to spice things up. But make sure that you are doing your part first, and that will go pretty far to grease the wheels or lubricate the vulvas. Sexy language. And finally, understand that it's not a comment on you as a person, as a lover, as your relationship, that it needs work. All sex lives require work over time. It's just that we all sort of have fallen into this idea that sex shouldn't require work, but that's nonsense. We are willing to work on everything else, from our cars to our jobs to our online profile to trying to get all the images on our Instagram to be the same filter. So it's not bad. It's not a comment on you or your relationship that your sex life needs work. It just means that you're normal. Congratulations. And normal, a really hard word to use when it comes to sex. And here I am using it. All right, without further ado, let's get into my 7 tips for spicing up your sex life. Oh, it's so spicy in here. No, it really is spicy. Woo! Number 1 is all about mindset. A lot of people are of the mindset, they think that they know their partner. They think that they know everything there is to know about their partner, everything that they're into, every square inch of their body, everything that gives them pleasure. And in order for you to make your bedroom life more exciting and enticing, you have to first acknowledge that you don't know everything about them, that they are still a mystery to you, that there are parts of their body and parts of their mind that have been unexplored, fantasies that you haven't yet heard. But if you're convinced that you know everything already, then you're going to have a lot of limitations, and it's going to be really hard for you to hear new and exciting information that is necessary to make sex more. Number 2, generate a list of ideas. If you already have ideas of what it would mean to spice things up for you, then write that list out and be prepared to share it with your partner. This is a great place to start on your own, and actually have your partner do the same. Both of you write a list, maybe 6 things minimum, of things that you would like to try in the bedroom. These lists could address all kinds of different things, from I want more kissing or sex more frequently, all the way to I want to role play, pretend to be a French maid, or something way off of the beaten path, like I want to have sex outside. But first, before anything else, spend some time individually daydreaming, thinking, fantasizing, like what would feel good for you. This will get the creative juices flowing and get you ready for step 3, which is to introduce yourself to new ideas. I will admit, as a sex and relationship professional, I still get introduced to new ideas all the time. It amazes me how much creativity comes through the minds of people when they really allow themselves to be sexually expressive. So don't feel like you have to individually generate all of the ideas for spicing up your sex life. There's a lot of really great ideas and a lot of really great content out there if you allow yourself to go look for it. So I'm talking books, workshops, websites, videos. There's so many interesting videos out there on the internet, both porn and informational videos, right? So porn can be a great source of ideas, like, oh yeah, I never thought to use that toy in that way, or to use my tongue in that way, or to do that to that person from that angle. But don't over rely on it. And the same is true for like erotic novels, erotic books. Maybe it never occurred to you that taking a erotic massage class even existed, that there was such a thing as erotic massage. And if you're not open to looking for those new ideas, you might actually not ever come across them in the course of your life. Like, for example, I didn't know that I loved latex until I found people on Instagram that were modeling and wearing super sexy latex. Like, I knew latex was a thing, but I never really took the time to allow myself to sink into it and become aroused by it. But then when I did, I was like, wow, I'm actually really into this. And that opened the door to other fantasies and other ideas like saran wrap and mummification. Things I didn't know that I was interested in and I wanted to try until I came across them in the right setting at the right time. Even stuff that you previously were not turned on by, if you are allowed to reintroduce it into your life, if you give yourself permission to seek new erotic material, stimulation, inspiration, they might ring a particularly different bell than they did the first time that you came across them, as was the case with me and latex. And if you listen to my podcast, The Oral Report, you will know that both me and my co-host have a love of latex. I'll leave that there. Number 4. Push yourself to the edges of your comfort zone. Nothing great ever happened inside of the comfort zone. Well, I shouldn't say that. Great things happen, but nothing truly sexually revolutionary and spicy happens from within the comfort zone. It just doesn't. If you are going to spice things up, you have got to be willing to go all the way out to the edges and perhaps beyond what makes you comfortable. Most people get into the rut because they do what they are comfortable with, right? Over and over and over and over and over and over. Again, the reason that so many people want to spice things up but have trouble doing it is because most people want to spice things up but from within their comfort zone. As long as your relationship is safe, healthy, you have each other's backs, you feel like you have a good partnership. I don't care if you've been dating for a month or 10 years. If you have each other's backs, then you should be able to expand up to the edges of your comfort zone and even go beyond them, knowing that you have a safe container and a safe relationship to come back to after that expansion, in case afterward things don't feel quite so good. Which brings me to tip number 5, which is have a backup plan. Sometimes we put a lot of weight on the thing that we've decided to do to spice things up. So like, let's say it's anal sex. Okay, so we've decided we both want to spice things up. We both want to try anal sex. We've got our lube. We've been practicing with butt plugs. The anus of the person who's receiving has been properly prepared. And tonight is the night. And then it doesn't go so great. Maybe someone ate some spicy food, or they got a bad feeling, or they freaked out at the last minute right after there was insertion and it felt awful and now there's tears, and it can be a traumatic experience. Like, sex can have a lot of trauma, can bring up previous trauma. It's not always like schedulable in the way that we wish that it was. Have a backup plan. If things go poorly, set a second date. Say if it doesn't work on Friday, we'll try again on Saturday. If we don't like anal, then we'll try something else. Try not to put so much weight on any one sex act as if it's going to save the sex life, save the whole relationship. We have to have multiple options available because, you know what? Bodies are bodies. Life is life. Calendars happen. Kids happen. Schedules happen. Illnesses happen. Trying not to put too much emphasis on any one thing and instead putting a little emphasis on a lot of things will help spicing things up happen way more smoothly. Number 6, and this is something that I am really, really passionate about. If you choose to involve other people, do so wisely, intentionally, conscientiously. A lot of the time, spicing things up involves, for a couple, inviting a third person into the bedroom. Now that could be literally into the bedroom where there's physical touch and kissing and licking and sucking, or it might be inviting another person in through fantasy, or it might be inviting another person in just to watch, or it might be inviting another couple in, or it might be going to a play party, a dungeon, a sex club. A lot of people choose to involve other people in spicing things up. And frankly, I think that's healthy. I don't think that human beings are wired, I don't think it's written in our DNA to be monogamous and have sex with one person for our whole life. That doesn't mean it's not possible. I'm just saying that it seems like a fairly obvious choice to me to involve other people because we literally evolved to have sex with multiple people. And so other people are a great way to spice things up, even if it's just fantasizing about having a threesome. That is still sort of involving another person in the bedroom and in your sex life, but do so wisely. Understand that other people are full people with feelings, thoughts, desires, bodies, hearts, minds, and we want to be as careful and as intentional about their experience as we are about our experience. So if you're a couple and you're inviting a third person in, understand that there's an existing power dynamic between the two of you as a couple. Make sure that that other person has space to say yes and no, and I want more and I want less, and this does or doesn't work for me. Figure out how they want to, if they are going to spend the night afterward, what your boundaries are around communication. Have a plan for your own emotional management in case something happens. You see that person having an experience with your partner that offers you a moment of dysregulation or makes you feel sort of out of sorts. Understand that that person is a person. You are a person. People are complicated. Don't even go to the sex club unless you've had a serious conversation about how other people are to be invited into your bedroom. And don't just use people to spice things up. Other people are not tools. They are not means to an end. They are people. And if you're going to include them in your bedroom, do so with the utmost care, consideration, honesty, integrity. Do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. Do others as you would like them to do you. You heard it here first, folks. Number 7. Remember, what's spicy to one person is vanilla to another, and that's perfectly fine. For you, spicing things up might mean having sex outside, or in the car, or at a parking garage, or at the stairwell, in the hotel, or a dentist's office, or a tent while you're camping, or Spicing things up might mean doggy style. There's no right or wrong. I want you to be perfectly honest with yourself about what level of spice you are looking for in your relationship. Have a conversation with yourself first, and then bring that conversation to your partner or anyone else that you're going to involve in the bedroom with you. There is no right or wrong way to get or to be or to do spicy. And there's no right or wrong timeline to get and to do and to be spicy on. Some people start early on with whips and chains and leather, and some people find spanking later on in life. And it's all good. It's all gravy, baby. Like, it's all spicy gravy, baby. Some people, whips and chains are actually pretty regular, and missionary sex is what's spicy and different and taboo for them. We are one big diverse community of sex havers, and that is awesome. The more open and non-judgmental that you can be, the more that you're willing to step outside and up to the edges of your comfort zone, the more that you are willing to hear your partner, the more that you're willing to give to your partner, the better your spicy relationship, bedroom, spicing up time will be. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell thingamajig so that you'll get notifications when I post these new videos every week. To you having the best sex of your life. Boom, baby. I'll see you next week. Mwah!